Good evening. I'd like to call to order the January 18, 2023 Lower Saucon Township Council meeting. Mark, please hold the roll.
Mr. Benonis?
Here.
Mr. Croce?
Here.
Ms. DeLeon?
Here.
Mr. Engels?
Here.
Ms. Yerger?
Here.
All right, please rise and pledge the flag.
United States of America, opposed to one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council did not meet in executive session before today's meeting. We intend to meet in executive session at the conclusion of the meeting. Public comment procedure, again, a copy of the public comment procedure is available on the tables outside the council meeting room. For public comment on agenda items only is for residents and taxpayers only with a 3-minute time limit. Before we get into the public comment, I first want to make a motion to amend the agenda. I'd like to move up the presentations, hearings, ordinances, resolutions, Part A, which is Resolution 32-2023, recognizing Thomas Anderson for his service to Lower Saucon Township. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Benonis, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Croce?
Yes.
Ms. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Engels?
Yes.
Ms. Yerger?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, what we have before us is Resolution 32-2023. This is a resolution honoring Thomas Anderson for his dedicated service to the residents of Lower Saucon Township. I'll share the contents of this resolution with the public. Whereas Thomas Anderson served the residents of Lower Saucon Township for 35 years as Lower Saucon Authority Board member, first being appointed in 1988, serving as 12 of those years as board chairman and 17 as vice chairman. And whereas during his service on Lower Saucon Authority, Tom was instrumental in working on projects such as Apple Butter Road Tank, Black River Road Meter, Foster Road Meter, Hickory Hill Road PRV, Black River Road PRV, and the design of the Creekside Pump Station. And whereas his expertise and participation in the ad hoc building code committee was vital to the implementation and adoption of the township's building codes, which are in effect today, ensuring the long-term sustainability of local planning and construction. And whereas Tom was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1946, and moved to Allentown in 1968, then to Lower Saucon Township in 1976, attended Northampton County Community College, earning his Associates of Science degree in 1973, then went on to earn his Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from Drexel University in 1982. And whereas Tom had a successful career with the Matos Enterprises for 24 years, Worthing Company for 4 years, Reading Site Contractors for 5 years, and 13 years with Navarro and Wright Consulting Engineers, where he was a construction inspector and project manager. And whereas Tom and his wife Dolores have been married for 52 years, raising a son Christopher and a daughter Kelly, and is a proud grandfather to Cole and Benjamin. And whereas in his spare time he enjoys fishing, especially in Canada, IndyCar racing, rooting for his favorite sports teams, including the Pittsburgh Steelers and Penguins, and spending time with his family. And whereas Tom's contribution will be greatly missed as a member of the Lower Saucon Authority. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of Lower Saucon Township, Jason Benonis President, Mark Engels Vice President, Thomas Croce, Priscilla De Leon, and Sandra Yerger, Council members, hereby honor and commend Tom Anderson for his dedicated service to the residents of Lower Saucon Township. Adopted and enacted this 18th day of January 2023, Lower Saucon Township, Jason Benonis, Council President, tested Mark Hudson, Secretary. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution recognizing the outstanding accomplishments and contributions of Tom Anderson.
And I'll second that. I know Tom can't see me, but we go way back. And I just, appreciate all you've done to make the authority what it is today. So, thank you.
Before we vote on the resolution, is there anything you'd like to say to us?
No, I've enjoyed my time.
Thank
It's
you.
party, that's it.
Thank you, Tom. All right, so we have a motion, and I think we have a second, right, Priscilla?
Yep. Mr. Croce?
Yes.
Ms. DeLeon?
Yes.
Mr. Engels?
Yes.
Ms. Yerger?
Yes.
Mr. Canonis?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you. All right, we will return now to the original agenda. The next item we have is agenda items only, residents and taxpayers. 3-minute timer. I have the sign-in sheets, and I'll call the names in order of the sign-in sheets. All right, the first name I have is Bob Laska. Bob Laska.
From my understanding, when this yard was sold, or whatever, there were already agreements with ISCI or whatever. And those agreements laid out, certain rules and regulations. Some of them are actually codified law where if they're violated, these truck drivers can be fined. One of the things in those rules and regulations is a designated truck route. As a matter of fact, there are 3 of them, depending on which direction they're riding. Anybody coming from east of here, north of here, whatever, is supposed to be traveling 78, get off 78, and then 412, make a right on Shimersville Road and a right on Apple Road. They're not doing that. They're coming up Island Park Road, some of them are going across Saucon Road, and then some of them are going down Apple Road. They're not supposed to be anywhere near us when they're doing that. Why does that continue? It's been brought up over a month ago. It took you guys less than a month to start activating these transactions for the landfill, yet nothing's being done about the regulations over the individuals. There're not supposed to be any trucks that are leaking material on the road. I've seen it plenty of times. It's in there that the truck tires are supposed to be washed before leaving the landfill, get this, on the days that they're washing tires. Why hasn't that been amended that before you leave, the truck tires have to be washed, period? These are problems with the existing landfill. I can't even imagine what's going to come if this goes any further and end up expanding. This is absolutely ridiculous. We've heard all the complaints before. I think it's about time to do something about it to our benefit, not some outside firm.
Bruce, Gina Finnerty, Finnnerty. Okay, next is Bruce Petrie. Bruce Petrie.
Bruce Petrie, 2626 Reddington Road. I'm not going to get into the legalese of everything, but my wife and I are lead appellants in a motion to stop the nonsense that's been going on last couple of months, probably longer. But I'm going to tell a story. It has to do with landfill. We live in a house that was built in 1775. It's older in this country. When we purchased it, it was its own landfill unto itself. The caretaker that lived there, his son, fixed cars up, just threw spark plugs everywhere. So I can't tell you how many car tires, spark plugs, windshields, other various and sundry items that we had to pay money to haul off the property, to turn it into a pristine area. And for those of you who come springtime, we would love anyone that's a resident of the township to show up, and we'll show you where this expansion of the landfill is going. And you know, you can throw up all the maps you want to, but it's not going to show the trees. It's all covered with trees. Can't even really see through the trees, that's how dense it is. So they're going to have to mow down all those wonderful trees. We put a fair amount of our property in open space to keep it open, and the expansion of the landfill would butt up to our property. And I can't tell you the impact to the wildlife, not to mention the runoff in the Bull Run and subsequent Lehigh River. But again, been there about 33 years. It's a beautiful old farmhouse built by the Scheimer family. Scheimer's, the farmhouse is listed on a map dated 1860. It's got the number of free colors on it. Just to give you some history, that's pre-Civil War. So we have a map up of that as well. So we spent a lot of blood, sweat and tears making this a beautiful place, and only to have the regs turned on its head to turn it into a garbage dump. So again, would anyone who wants to come out and see it come springtime, we'd love to show you. We have a nice overview of where they want to put this landfill, and we'd love to have you out. Thank you.
CCLARIN. Please.
Matthew McLaren, 2198 Riverside Drive. I'm just here, basically, against the agenda item on the board for the board tonight, and that would be the application for obviously the board exchange. I think I'm just going to say, go a little off topic here, but obviously there's going to be some in-depth conversation on this. I don't think it's fair to the citizens, something this magnitude that gets discussed tonight, to have to speak before the, the item even comes up, or before there may be a vote cast. In the past, there's been a wealth of knowledge in this room on any agenda item that comes up before this board, and there's been a wealth of knowledge for anybody in this room, and I believe that part of good governance is letting some of the public speak on any one of the agenda items as they come up directly after the discussion that council has. I believe it's good public policy. I mean, I don't know why we got away from that, but it's kind of tough, I think, sometimes when you read the board packet and you try to read through all the information. Like I was just sitting there trying to read through this permit application, and it's a lot. And there might be some really in-depth discussions that take place. You might have people in here that are civil consultants that have, differing opinions. You might have landowners that have differing opinions of what the landfill says. And for a decision like this, I think that, the public is limited to basically before the meeting or after. Before, not right before the vote. I think it's, kind of, I guess, good public policy. Like I said, I think, I hope that could come up on a further agenda and have to rethink about that. No matter what, you have 3 minutes. I don't think that it's going to kill anybody to allow the public to speak right after an item on this. If we could potentially save the township money or come up with an alternate idea. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Tim Murphy, IUR-PHY.
I'm just up here to voice my opinion. I don't think, I disagree with the rezoning that occurred from special exemption use to conditional use. I also disagree with the expansion of the landfill in its entirety. I don't believe enough research has been done regarding the landfill expansion. And I don't think the long-term effects of it have been reviewed in depth. I don't think enough research or review has been done of the long-term effects of its negative effects on the groundwater or on its effect on indigenous fauna and flora. I think Priscilla outlined several of those reviews that should have taken place prior to. I also don't think enough reviews going into its effect on the Lehigh River water quality or on the Bull Run water quality. I find it hard to believe that the Commonwealth is not going to be involved when the Lehigh is a major tributary to the Delaware River, and the Delaware River provides over 50% of the water to Philadelphia. So I don't even see how that can go through. I'm also disappointed that you approved the zoning change so quickly after hearing all of the different people that live adjacent to the landfill. Gentlemen just spoke before, several people in the last meeting. I don't think you guys are really considering a lot of your constituents. And lastly, I just think some data was shown about the EPA saying how much money, if you save and invest in fresh groundwater, it saves you, like, for $1 used to save on conserving fresh groundwater, it saves $27 for your water treatment. So it's well worth it to just do an in-depth review of the long-term effects of groundwater, of contamination, and hurry, rather than hurry through it, approve it, and in the future have to spend 27 times that to correct the groundwater pollution. And that's basically all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Glassbeard is spoken, sorry.
Yeah, but I signed 3 times. Don't I get to talk 3 times?
Yeah, well, one time, sir.
Oh, okay.
You can talk on the non-agenda, then we'll welcome. Sean, I can't really read this last name. I'm going to try to spell it. I think it is Haronott. You can identify yourself first.
And it's Sean Harnett, SCANHARTMETT. And the last time I spoke here, I was pretty mean to all of you, maybe deservedly so. But tonight I'm going to take maybe a different approach instead of calling all names. You have actually a pretty easy job, and that's to serve us. And some of you might be wondering, what does that mean? Well, maybe you can start with protection. I know we have police here somewhere in this building, so your job is to protect us. Thank you. Your job is to ensure that our lives are enriched, that we're healthy and safe. I fail to see how this achieves that. This doesn't enrich us because you're going to diminish the value of my property as well as hundreds of other constituents with a dump going up. I don't know how that helps the tax revenue either. This isn't like we're debating whether or not a target's going to go up over there and you want to repurpose that forest land. That would be something I think we'd all be willing to debate here, the value and merits of that. But we're talking about a literal dump. Again, I said this the last time, and maybe I'm being insulting, but this is like an episode of The Simpsons. When did we prioritize a dump over the needs of the citizens? That's us. And I know, Mark, you're up for election next. I'm going for you. And I'm going to flip this council. I'm going to run as a Republican, because I know that's what you are. And the 2 Democrats need an ally. I'll be that ally. And then when I do, everything I can to ensure that this company is not able to operate and then he turns to solvency. I'm gonna have the EPA so far off their butt. I'm gonna fine them, I'm gonna tax them to hell, and make sure that this deal goes to hell. So that's it for me.
HILL.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start with something right off the Lower Saucon Township website. It says, the township is known for pastoral farmlands, tranquil woodlands, and gently rolling hills. That's what we want to be known for. We don't want to be known for a big landfill. Our township has a history of tough environmental standards, but members of this council seem to disregard all environmental concerns and have even modified our township code to simplify the landfill's expansion process in a watershed area, an important natural resource. So why this double standard? Council members Bananas, Yerger, and Carochi should recuse themselves from all matters pertaining to the landfill, including the request for expansion that would desecrate an area of woods and fields currently in a conservation easement. It's been all over the news that the landfill's parent company funded a PAC that contributed $75,000 to the Bananas Carochi's Evaki campaign. It's also been widely reported that Sandra Yerger and her colleagues' campaign received over $146,000 in the relatively same manner. The landfill has indirectly funded enormous sums of money, much more than individuals can afford, to donate to campaigns. It wouldn't surprise me at all if these council members felt a heartfelt sense of loyalty to the landfill. Our council president, Jason Bananas, practices law for a firm called Marshall Dehaney. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, but according to its website, Mr. Bananas is a shareholder in the firm. The firm represented defendants in a 2006 wrongful death case called Wilson versus IEISI New York in U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Pennsylvania. IESI New York is a sister company of IESI Bethlehem. On its website, Marshall Dehaney describes its environmental and toxic tort practice group as having long been one of the most active, and I'm quoting here, active practice groups in its litigation endeavors in the states of Pennsylvania, Florida, etc. The website also says that Marshall Dehaney's toxic tort litigation attorneys have handled numerous environmental matters. They have represented a great number of clients in litigation arising out of Superfund landfill cleanups, private cost recovery actions, soil or groundwater contamination, drinking water contamination, and so forth. So I ask you again,
I don't
why do
mean to
we
interrupt
have...
you. Your 3 minutes are up. If you could wrap up this idea, we have other people who need to speak, okay?
Again, I'm just asking, why do we have this double standard in this township? Thank you.
Thank you. SADLER. Claire Sadler.
Good evening. I'm Claire Sadler. I'm the Executive Director of the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor. And our organization is directly named in point 6 and point 8.
Let me interrupt you for a second. Are you a resident or taxpayer of Lower Saucon Township?
Not.
Okay. So,
We are directly named in the easements.
okay. Are you a resident or taxpayer of Lower Saucon Township?
I'm not, but I'd be happy to let one of our other employees who is speak.
Okay, thank you.
She's already on the list. Yeah. I'm happy to read a statement that our Executive Director prepared.
Yourself, please.
For Aiken Gravy,
Reset that clock, Todd.
I stopped it.
Brittany Condravy,
Okay.
2022 Springtown Hill Road,
Okay.
Lower Saucon resident. I'm also the conservation coordinator at the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Border.
Hold on a second.
Start the
We
clock.
should have done this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Our organization is directly named in point 6 and point 8 of both conservation easements for the two parcels in question. We have been contacted by Lower Saucon Township residents and multiple regional partners related to our standing as a party cited in the easements. I am here to express our objection to reducing the zoning requirements, granting the landfill designation as conditional use, and weakening the conservation protections placed on these important parcels. The Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor was designated by the United States Congress in 1988 under President Reagan to preserve, protect, and celebrate the nationally significant industrial heritage of our 5-county region, Fox, Northampton, Lehigh, Carbon, Missouri. This is our 35th year making connections focused around our 4 pillars of the mission that include industrial heritage, nature and environment, health and wellness, and economic development. We believe considering either of these parcels for landfill expansion in any capacity is a mistake for the whole region and generations to come. We specifically feel this would go against each pillar of our mission for the following reasons. Industrial heritage. The Reddington Historic District within the list land area supported the workforce of the coal-burning furnace in the 1800s. Before Bethlehem Steel used it as armored testing area and shell filling plant through World War I and held rail lines servicing the area, all related to the strong industrial heritage of this region. 2. This land is within the viewshed of the D&L Trail built along the former Lehigh Navigation towpath following the historic paths of canals and railroads from Wilkes-Barre to Bristol. As far as nature and the environment goes, clearing the steep wooded slopes leading to the Lehigh River would be detrimental to the entire watershed and river corridor that many generations have worked hard to clean up since our society degraded it with their prior industries. We must learn from our mistakes and be sure to balance the environmental and economic benefits. These parcels make one of the largest continuous wooded areas adjacent to the Lehigh River, and we cannot get something like that back. Health and wellness, yes, we all need an area to put our trash, and we should all be working harder to reduce it, but the recreation benefits of getting in nature, of having good air quality, good water quality, are all critical to maintaining the health of our population. Expanding this landfill and taking on a majority of trash from out of state is detrimental to the open space and our community. The D&L Trail is well on its way to being the longest multi-use trail in Pennsylvania, longer than the Great Allegheny Passage, and it can bring in tremendous economic growth for small business, hospitality outfitters, and retailers. We are discussing clearing wooded area within the viewshed of the trails that goes through Bethlehem and Freemansburg and expanding the landfill. So we ask that you highly consider what you're doing, because if we use up this land, we don't get it back. And as you can see, there are multiple ways that we already benefit from this land, and that generations can continue to do so. Thank you. Thank you.
I can't believe I'm here again. And I will be here for every meeting until this dump is dumped. The ink barely even dried from our last council meeting. And I remember Link saying, this is just a preliminary hearing, it's gonna take a long time. And to my surprise, what's on the agenda tonight? Said hearing for a conditional use application for the dump. Wow. You guys really act quick. You might even get a bonus from the dump to get this pushed through as quickly as you guys are. My door's still open for you guys to come tell me why this dump is good for our community. Because clearly everybody in this room and others who probably couldn't make it tonight feel the dump is not any good for anybody here. The only person that benefits, or the only outfit that benefits, is this out-of-state corporation, which we've been hosting this dump for way too many years. So for the life of me, I'm still shocked why we want this dump expansion. This is just mind-blowing. I don't know if anybody here understands what the purpose of this actually is.
Speaking of the microphone so the crowd can hear.
I want to know Does anybody in this room understand and can explain to me why this dump is good for us? I say we put this up for a referendum. I said this last time.
Excuse me, does us include them?
Sir, this is his opportunity, he has the floor.
He asked a question, it's his time.
Nobody clearly wants this, Jason, Sandra, Mark, and Tom, because I know Priscilla doesn't want it. So you guys are human beings, you guys have families in this community. What is the purpose? Please try to explain this to me. You know, my door's open, I invite every one of you guys to come to my house, I'll give you a damn beer if you need it. But I just want to get an understanding, what is the purpose of this dump expansion? It is just mind-boggling. You know, the DNL just got a couple of $1 million in the Lehigh Valley to connect the trail. And it's gonna go right through this area. I've already contacted Representative McNeil about this. Their office wasn't even aware, and she was instrumental in getting all this money to connect the DNLs throughout the Lehigh Valley. Is this what we want, is people coming through the Lehigh Valley and smelling that crap? I should say the dump? This makes absolutely no sense. I can't for the life of me understand what is going on here and what's going on behind the scenes that you guys are all involved in potentially. I don't know. I'm just speculating and I have nothing to prove any of that. But on the surface, there's no reason why I could see this dump expand. It just makes absolutely no sense.
Thank you. Jackie, come on up.
Yep, Jackie Plumbo, 2566 Kings Mill Road. I'd like to thank all my fellow citizens for coming out here. Obviously, we are against dump expansion. Against. That means no. I didn't vote for you, fair enough, but some people here did. But I'm betting they're not going to be voting for the dump expansion. Even though they voted for you, you may think it's a good idea, but you're their voice. And they're saying no. You're supposed to uphold what your community wants. Not what you want, what they want. It's a democracy. You don't just get to make the rules and decide what's going to be good for us. When you have a whole room of people saying we don't want it, you can change course. You can just throw away that last vote that you had and just abandon this whole idea of expanding the dump, and that'll be it. Or you can just follow through with it and just keep on going. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out what I need to do. Because if you're not promoting the will of the people, I'm going to find out how to get you out of that chair. And put someone in there who will vote the will of the people. Because you are not doing that. You are, from what I can understand about democracy, you're not even listening to us. You're not even listening. Right now, you're probably just sitting there thinking what you're going to do tomorrow. But I'll tell you what I'll be doing tomorrow. I'll be looking for a way to talk to Mr. Shapiro. He just got in yesterday, so I'm not going to go there right away. But I'm going to talk to the governor. I'm going to talk to the new AG when she or she gets appointed. And I'm going to put all this up in front of them and say, this is how our elected officials are treating our community. And I'll see what they have to say and what other people have to say. So either you can abandon this and just change your mind, do the right thing, what everybody wants, or we can find out what happens. That is up to you.
Thank you. CH.
Good evening, I'm Kurt Balch from Reddington Road, and well, I'm sorry to see you all again here. It looks like in spite of the holiday spirit and 100 or so pleas, your hearts failed to grow 3 sizes that day. So, to sway your votes against approving this conditional use change to landfill, I'm going to forego any further pleas to your compassion and attempt to appeal to your pride instead. As you may recall, Jason, Tom, I voted for you. My apologies, I was under the impression that you're Republicans. But I expect a decent Republican to have at least some passing understanding of the art of the deal. Might have heard of it, it was a book supposedly written by a former president. Sold a lot of copies. But you see, the art of the deal demands that if you want something, it's essential to figure out what your prospect really, really wants and convince them that you can give it to them. So I assume that for Waste Connections to get you to actually break down legislative barriers to this landfill expansion, all in the face of massive opposition from your constituents, that you must have gotten something really, really good for this township. Something huge that this township really, really wanted. I thought maybe you got an agreement to a 10-fold increase on tax revenue on landfill-zoned property. Maybe you got Waste Connections to agree to funding a stadium, parks, and playgrounds for the schools. Maybe you got them to pull those big Texas strings to bulldoze down the vacant neighbor's garden center and put up a Trader Joe's. I think most of us would get behind that. But then I realized, no, I bet what you did was you negotiated a massive expansion and improvement of the Hellertown area library. Oh my God, I bet that wasn't it. Sorry. Well, I guess wasn't any of those, but from what I can tell, you didn't negotiate for anything. From what I can tell, Waste Connections came in here with their big ask for 275 protected wooded acres leading to the banks of the Lehigh River, and instead of squeezing them for every promise and penny that was possible, using the leverage that your voters have given you, we're just going to stand here today and let you rail roughshod over expanding conditional use landfill over 275 beautiful acres. Is this what we get for sending lawyers instead of a salesman to do the job? In all fairness though, maybe you did negotiate for what you really, really wanted. And you got it. But what you really, really wanted, you can't tell us. Because what you really, really wanted was never for any of us. Thank you for your time.
If anybody can't hear, please raise your hand.
Yeah, we need to keep him speak louder.
Yeah, him.
Yeah. Laura.
Well, everybody's covering the landfill, so I'm hitting all the other crap. Okay, so financial investment policy update. So given the fact that I no longer have any degree of confidence that the majority on council act on behalf of the best interests of residents, I have to question everything. Who will truly benefit from an agreement with Great Eastern Management? Does somebody up there have a connection with them? The memo dated January 12th states the firm has the ability to research banks for multiple areas that we do not have access to in order to secure the highest interest rate. It noted rates as high as 4.9%. With a simple Google search the other day, I found that same 4.9% at a bank that was FDIC, and it also had their stability rating. For Act 72 compliance, public depositors can and should request monthly reports on each institution's collateral status. So that sounds like something easy enough for a finance director to do. Is it worth it to pay a fee to have an outside firm do this for Lower Saucon? 0.15% sounds small, but on very large investment, it adds up to a lot of money. The policy would also increase maximum terms on CDs to 5 years. It doesn't list what percentage that we would put at that term, though. That was missing. Current policy has 20% at 6%, 40% at 1 year, and 40% at 2 years. So what would the new breakdown be? That wasn't shown in the policy. Have you all read the details, and will you ask any questions before you vote on this? In the financial reports, I noted that there was another $18,311.61 for Eckert, Siemens, and Sharon in December for unnecessary legal battle with OCL. And then regarding the designation of the EAC chairman, I'm going to say I went through several years. I don't see that we approved the chair the last 2 years. It hasn't been since 2020 when this actually happened. And it wasn't a separate agenda item. It was actually done under manager's report and approved. Seems like spiking it as a separate agenda item is very suspect to me. We had our meeting and voted to change chairs. It was such a big ordeal that it really shouldn't have been. Other boards change their chairs all the time. It's a normal thing. I expect our chair to be approved, and if not, I would love to hear the reasons from you if you're voting no.
Thank you. Next is CICCARELLO.
Yeah, my name is Michael Chicarello, CICCARELLO. I live off of Quarry Lane, and I have well water. Okay, Waste Connections should be answering to you, not you answering to Waste Connections. They're here to make money in our community, and they're doing it inefficiently. As I stated before, on the 21st, they could be incinerating, reducing their filth, and creating electricity and making their money off of PPL. I don't know why you haven't thought about putting any kind of restrictions on them to work with them so they're benefiting our community. You know, I also don't know of any tests that you've done to see where any of the aquifers actually flow underground. You know, where is all this research that has gone into your decision? You know, I would love to know that. Have you walked the ground? I bet you haven't. I don't know what else to say. If you go through with this expansion at this point without any research whatsoever, it's unethical and it's irresponsible. And you're affecting a lot of people's health with their well water. And anyone that plays games with that should be expecting a big fight.
Thank you. KELLOS, Bonnie Markellos.
Olivia Markellos, 2545 Quarry Lane. We moved here almost 3 years ago from a lot further south in the state. And we found a house that we absolutely love, and we want to stay there until we die. Now we're faced with this problem. I'd like to combine my two concerns to say that since we've moved here, I've read and heard plenty about a division that seems to be between Hellertown and the rest of the township. It's a large township. So I wonder, where does that come from? Why does it seem like Hellertown is on the back end? Why is there an issue with the compost, with the library, with the landfill? Something doesn't seem right about that. Also, I don't understand why there aren't other options for the landfill. I mean, big areas, they deal with it in different ways. They're not just scooping up a whole bunch of acres and filling it with garbage. So I really would, just as so many people have already said, that you would look to find other options that would be more acceptable to the entire township. Thanks.
Thank you. SUTTON. Russ Sutton.
Yes. Hi, I'm Russ Sutton. I live at 2133 Saucon Avenue. I am definitely against this landfill expansion. When we were here before Christmas, when this occurred, I turned my back and you voted to approve it. The last time we had an expansion, it went into 5 or 6 meetings before that happened. It didn't happen in one meeting. I wonder, what is your legacy? The dump? Is that what you're going to be proud of? Lower Saucon dump? That's going to be your legacy? We used to have a good relationship with Hellertown. they were gonna join with the police force, with the fire department and everything. That's all gone. Why, I don't know. I think someone up here has an axe to grind, and I think they're using that as a platform to do it. I live in Steel City. I've been there for 36 years. We had to get city water because our water was contaminated from the dump. So what do you think larger amount of dump property is going to do to the rest of the environment, plus the Lehigh, which goes into the Delaware, and the Delaware goes into Chesapeake? You're destroying a whole ecology system. And you can see the landfill from 33. If you go out to Lowe's there, you can see that mess. You can see it from University of St. Luke's campus there. You can see it. It's a mess. It's not something you can be proud of. And your motto was low, rolling green hills. You better throw that out the window. You should make it say, come see our wonderful dump, because that's all you're going to be remembered for. And when I was here last, 100 people came up here and told you no. 100 people said no. And what did you do? Vote for it. And we can't ask you questions, which to me makes this an autocracy, not a democracy. We should know why you voted for this damn dump. It shouldn't be a secret. It should be out in the open. Because this is a democracy, not an autocracy. And I don't understand this. And there's been no environmental studies on this land or its impact to the area and what it's going to do, and for health people as well. But most of you up there don't even pay attention when we're talking. So I'm just saying, you should be ashamed to pass this, and your legacy is just going to be a dump.
Thank you. ZAGWOSK.
Hi, my name's Walter Zagroski, live in Steel City. One of the things that have been irritating me since I've been coming to these meetings, which I didn't realize, that the dumps 1 million gallons of sludge water into the city sewer system. I pass the sewer system every day. I could put something in a bucket and throw it over the hill, and we're not connected to that. But we're gonna process millions of gallons of sewer water that they can't handle that type of material just going into the river, contaminating the river. Up until about 8 years ago, Steel City property values started going back up because the dump was closing. You know, our property values were high. Now they're starting to go into the toilet. I can't even go in the toilet, you know, it doesn't even go over there. Our taxes we're gonna go down and we get our houses reassessed. If my property, I got a beautiful property, it's worth a lot. But if it starts going downhill, I'm not paying taxes. I'm gonna say, this property's worth zero. My property's worth zero, I can't sell it. You can't sell a property because the dump is on your backyard and it's getting bigger and bigger, it's just a monster growing. You know, you guys gotta come out and look, you know, and see what we have. You gotta wreck our town, you gotta wreck Steel City. You know, it's not gonna be a town, it's gonna be a dump too, because nobody's gonna wanna live there. You know, you can't sell a house if it's connected to the backyard, it's connected to the dump. All these people on Reddington Road, they got beautiful properties. They're not gonna buy to sell their properties, you're not gonna get no value for it. You don't have no value, we were just getting our value back because the dump was closing. People were coming in from New York and New Jersey to buy our houses because it's nice there. Our community is nice. And it's not gonna be nice when the dump's right in our backyard, making a bigger mountain than what we got now. We were happy it was closing in 8 years. You gave us a break. I lived there 43 years, I had to put up with them. And they were closing within 8 years ago.